Good morning. Happy Friday. We made it to Friday. It is time for just a word from the Word. I have two passages I want to read this morning, one from the Old Testament, the other from the New. Both are from the King James Version. Our first passage comes from the book of Isaiah, chapter 55 and verse 9. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways, God is speaking, higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And then I'm going to the New Testament, the book of Acts, chapter 17 and verse 23. Paul is speaking to those in the Areopagus in Athens. And this is what he said. For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with this inscription: To the unknown God, whom therefore you ignorantly worship, him declare I unto you. I'm going to work my way backwards here. Paul is in Athens. He's speaking to the intelligent of the day. And he noticed an area where there were a bunch of altars to a bunch of false gods. Among those altars was one altar that was designated for the unknown God. In other words, they didn't want to leave any god out, so they made an altar just to make sure that they covered every deity out there, and they called it to the unknown God. They just wanted to make sure that they weren't offending any deity by not worshiping them. And Paul sees this altar, and he begins to speak to them, these intelligent of the city, these thinkers of the city. He begins to speak to them on their own level, and he begins to say, I saw an altar to all the different gods, but the one altar that grabbed my attention was the altar to the unknown God. And Paul then begins to explain who that unknown God really was. And he preaches Jesus to them. He preaches God manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, seen of angels, preached on in the world, received up into glory. Paul preaches Jesus to them. God robed in flesh, dwelling among us, living, preaching, teaching, healing, sacrificing his life on the cross, and rising from the dead. Paul preaches the unknown God. But I want to challenge you today. This morning's just a word from the Word is a challenge to our thinking about God. When we read in Isaiah that God is saying his ways are above our ways, his thoughts are above our thoughts. Be honest. Now, 99.9% of you are going to think, and you may not comment this, and that's okay, but 99.9% of you are going to say, I don't see that, and that's okay. I'm after the 0.1% this morning. When God said his ways are above our ways, his thoughts are above our thoughts, there are those, and I have been there, that say, well, now you're not going to say it out of your lips, but in your heart, you say, well, since God's ways and thoughts are so high above my thoughts, or are so high above my ways, maybe I cannot fully trust him because I don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know why he's doing what he's doing. He could do whatever he wants to. He's God. And we use that thought unconsciously to not have full trust in him because we say he's unknown, that there is no way that we can know him. We're just as bad at times as those worshipers in Athens, Greece. We worship everything that we think that we know, but just in case we don't get it all right, we're going to worship the one that we don't know. And we think that we're being spiritual when we do that. Ouch. Here's what the prophet Isaiah is saying. Here's what the apostle Paul is saying. And here's what I feel the Spirit of the Lord saying. Yes, God, his ways are well above our ways. We are never going to fully figure out what he's going to do, how he's going to do it, and why. We're never going to fully figure that out. We're human. And for eternity, we will never fully figure out all of his ways. They're above our understanding because we are finite humans. And that's true. But also what Paul said to the Athenians is also true. The unknown God is not really unknown. Let me put it this way, because I don't know that if everybody's following my track. So let me make it simple. God's ways are above our ways. We'll never figure them out, but his character does not change. Because his character does not change, we can know him. He is faithful. He is true. He is merciful. He is gracious. He is long suffering. He is forgiving. He is the one that cleanses us from our sin. That is his character. I challenge you. Go to Exodus chapter 34. Read verses 5 through 7, where God meets with Moses on the mountain. And God declares his character. We may not fully understand his ways, but we can trust his character. God's intention is to have a relationship with you and me where we trust his character, even when we don't see his ways, even when we don't understand what he's doing. We trust him because he's good. He is not intending to be an unknown God. He intends for us to know him. So I'm after that 0.1% that's honest enough to say, I've been using the fact that God's ways are above my ways to not fully trust him. Somebody going to be honest out there. I don't know who you are. Somebody going to be honest and watch their heart. Consider their heart. Dig into their heart and realize that the reason why they're not trusting God is that they're excusing their lack of trust by saying, his ways are higher than mine. I'm not ever going to try to figure it out. So I can't really fully trust him. Somebody out there, your eyes are going to be open. And you're going to say, I may not ever understand his ways, but I can trust his character. And when you learn to trust the character of God, it will change the way that you pray. It will change your walk with him because you will begin to walk in confidence, in a confidence that you have never walked in before. I'm after somebody's confidence this morning. I'm after somebody's faith this morning. I have been challenged in my spirit, and I am sending forth the challenge because I heard God say, yes, my ways are above your ways, but my character doesn't change, and you can trust it. This morning's just a word from the word. Stand fast. Stand fast in your confidence. Have confidence in the God of your salvation because his character does not change, and you can bank on that. I hope that made sense. This has been just a word from the word. It's just been turning in my spirit all morning. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. Enjoy your weekend. And Lord willing, we'll see you Monday morning.